Yeah, go ahead, Gene. He's got up one right there.
Thanks. I'm Jean Parag. I'm the provincial treasurer, but I have been off basically for 3 months because I had a stroke. I identified that I was in phase 4, but the day I had the stroke, my whole priority was myself. That's something you haven't brought up, that people do go up and down. For future presentations, it might be worth it to say that, or maybe I'm wrong, but I found myself, I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing fine now. 2 months after, I'm looking at it and saying, what's wrong? What's missing? And it was, I was not doing my volunteer stuff, which I'm very big volunteer on in a lot of areas.
Mhm.
And now for the last month, I've been doing it, and I got my happiness back. I'm back to phase 4. So thank you very much. I have read
Well,
your book, and I got a lot out of it, and got even more out of your presentation. Thank you.
Thanks very
thank
much,
you so
Gene,
much.
and that's a good,
Gina,
good
if I could just comment, I did try to address in one of the two assumptions that this is assuming pretty good health, both physical and financial. And I have to tell you that my wife has also, in the last year or so, suffered a stroke and has found the same uh, kind of being sidelined or being swerved away from what it was that she was enjoying and looking to do. She's not completely back as yet, but she's headed in the right direction, and I'm delighted that you're able to resume some of your previous activities, the volunteer activities. It just makes such a difference. Thanks for your comments.
thanks very much, and it certainly is an
Thank you very
indication
much.
that health is a major factor that we've got to really focus upon. Mike, you're next.
Dr. Riley, thank you for the presentation. I have a question and a comment, but I think I might start with my comment. When I started in the fire department, I was given some sage advice by a soon-to-be retired captain, and he basically told me that I should consider that I used my time off during the course of my work to find something that I like to do, to maintain that for as long as I could, because in his estimation, if you did not use your days off or your time off effectively, sooner or later it would catch up with you when you retire. So basically, I had a relatively short period of phase 1. It took me about a day and a half to figure out that I could finally take away or throw away my shift calendar, and I didn't have to worry about readjusting my social life based on when I was going to work. So that was fairly a short period of time.
Mhm.
I did not reach phase 2 until probably 15 years after my retirement.
Mm.
And during that time, it's been a bit of a struggle, but I I came to the realization that I had some problems. Um, I've been dealing with them, and actually, my involvement with mental health issues in firefighters specifically has helped a lot in that respect. So I basically bypassed stage 3 and tried to stay in that phase 4 area, but
Yeah.
it has been a bit of a struggle because I found myself continually bouncing back and forth and
Mhm.
trying to, to my limit in my involvement that forces me back into the stage 2. But which leads me to my question is that the people that you interviewed, were there any people within that group, um, emergency response personnel, whether it be firefighters, police, paramedics? I'm just curious if you found anything in your research that was a little bit different from what I would consider a normal job,
Right.
not anything to do with shift work or
Right.
exposure to any great degree of trauma.
Right. One of the thanks for the comment and the question. One of the things that I've discovered is that there seems to be two groups of people who are able somehow to avoid all four of the phases. And it may well be that the advice that you were given early on may be one of those. But the two groups that I have found that are somehow able to perhaps avoid, and I suspect it's 10 to 15% of retirees. Number one, people who have identified things during their working careers or their domestic careers that they would consider to be a hobby. And that's the kind of advice I think that you were given was find other things to be engaged in. So whether it be coaching or whether it be teaching or photography, whatever it might be, I found that small group of people seemed to be able to focus on phase 4 pretty quickly because they knew what they wanted to do and they just wanted to spend more time at it. The second group that I found perhaps in that category are entrepreneurs who in many cases are kind of married to their jobs, in most cases in a loving kind of a way. They're just totally engrossed. They love what they do and they want to do it for as long as they can. They may be involved in kind of phasing back or cutting back on some of the things that they do as they train family members or others to take over for them. But these are also people I find who are just as happy as they can be doing what they've always done. They get great satisfaction from it. And those are kind of the two groups. With respect to the question about whether there was something distinctive about folks who served as police or fire, I must say that the base of interviewing those people was not large enough for me to draw any particular conclusions.
Yeah, thanks very much. That was a great question. Is there any other questions that anyone would like to ask? Go ahead, Ron.
Thank you for your excellent presentation. You are a very articulate presenter as you are a writer. So do we see book 2 coming along? This would be book 1. And have you considered a book 2 that might focus on that phase 3, phase 4, those aspects you identify there, plus, now this is a personal opinion, the landfill that is social media and the era of disinformation and misinformation we've all entered, and helping those people helping retirees deal with that whole area. I think it's important, but I really did enjoy this. I've got people lined up to borrow this. You'd probably prefer that I buy copies and give it to them. But I got this free from the association, so I'm going to move it along. But I will tell people to get this. Is a very, very good book.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, I would love it if people bought the book because net proceeds from sales of the book all go to Water Ambassadors Canada. And so I'd be delighted to have a larger number of sales and they can do so through our website. As far as the social media area that you mentioned at the end, I'm frankly doing my best to avoid it as much as I can. I don't consider myself to be expert in the area and I don't really intend to get into it. As far as, is there another book in me? I'm contemplating that. It would likely be focusing because it has been encouraged kindly by other folks. It would likely be some kind of greater or more examples of the sorts of activities that phase 4 people are involved with. More interviews, more success stories would be the goal, I think.
Great question, Rod. Thanks very much. Is there any further questions? Well, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation this morning. Based on the fact that you donate all the proceeds of that book to Water Ambassadors Canada, it's not inconceivable that we might get a motion at our board meeting not to pass your book along, but but get people to buy it. And I certainly think that would be a friendly motion that we might look at somewhere down the road. I'd just like to thank you for your presentation today. We're going to, I believe this is going to be available on our website, and we really appreciate the relationship. Each time I listen to you, I think about another incident in my own personal life that I hadn't thought about for quite a long time. And so I think it's one can go back to this site, and what I'm finding right now based on your TED Talks is that I'm talking to other retired associations, both in BC and across the country, that are looking at our website, going back to the website to see what's new there. And it's a good indication how, if we refresh our website with material like you put forward, we can keep activities going there. So on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation this morning and say how much each of us have really enjoyed the efforts you're putting into it and the cause you're working for. So thank you.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you. Thanks so much, folks. Bye for now. I will move on. Enjoy and hope you have productive meetings. Thanks, folks.
Thanks very much.